Here we are in Chapter 7, returning to the discussion of meters and beats and some of the things we talked about a week ago. This chapter is about compound meters, and let me try to explain this to you. We already discussed simple meters, in which the beat is divided into two equal parts. If the quarter note's a beat, an eighth note is a half a beat. So if this is a beat, you might hear 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and notes that took up half a beat. And that would be a very common and normal thing to happen. That's called a simple beat. In a compound beat, the individual beats are not divided into halves. They're divided into thirds, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, da, 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 da. And there's plenty of music that works that way. There's popular music that does both, and classical music too, and especially folk music can have compound beats that we'll hear, hopefully. Now, we could also use a half note to represent a beat, as you know. In the compound beats, one beat might be represented as a dotted quarter or a dotted half, and those individual divisions would be triplets or quarter notes. So I feel like this can be confusing if you haven't heard it before. In a simple meter, this might represent the beat, and then the beat is divided into halves. This might represent the beat divided into halves. Or here, maybe an eighth note represents a beat, and 16th notes divides it into halves. But in compound beats, either a dotted quarter, a dotted half, or a dotted eighth note represents the beat, and now it's divided into thirds like this. And it's a little bit confusing, but we will learn more about it as we go through here. So if you are in a compound meter, like I said, one beat might be represented by a dotted quarter note. Could also be and if it is, a dotted half note will be 2 beats, and a dotted whole note, which you don't see very often, would be 4 beats. The corresponding rest, a dotted quarter rest, a dotted half rest, or a dotted whole rest. In compound beats, we really don't have something to represent 3 beats, so we have to use a tie. This guy's 2 compound beats plus 1 compound beat is 3. Or if that was the entire measure, we can always use a whole rest anytime to represent a full measure of rest. So here we are again. Dotted quarter note is 1 beat. That means an eighth note will be 1/3 of a beat, and a quarter note will be 2/3 of a beat. You already remember that a dotted quarter note is the same as 3 eighth notes. So if that's 1 beat, a single eighth note is 1/3 of a beat, and a quarter note is 2/3 of a beat. If the dotted half note is 1 beat, this is 1 beat, dotted whole note is 2 beats, quarter note 1/3 of a beat, and half note 2/3 of a beat. Let's work through these and make sure we're all on the same page so far. If a dotted quarter note is 1 beat, then a dotted quarter rest is 1 beat, a dotted half rest is 2 beats, a quarter note is 2/3 of a beat, a dotted half note would be 2 beats. Here again, dotted quarter note is 1 beat, dotted whole note 4 beats, an eighth rest 1/3 of a beat, and a quarter note 2/3 of a beat. Here, a dotted half note represents 1 beat, so a quarter rest is 2/3 of a beat. A quarter note is 1/3 of a beat, a half note 2/3 of a beat, a dotted whole note 2 beats, a quarter note 1/3 of a beat, a dotted half rest 1 beat, a half rest 2/3 of a beat, dotted half note 1 beat, and dotted whole note 2 beats. Dotted whole rest, 2 beats.